day we walk on the court, whether it's in individual workouts or practice, it's as much about us getting better and us working on our individual games, our team game, and continuing to grow as a team. I think sometimes you can find a point where, you know, every guy has to find a way to get better, and I think that's one thing this team has done. And I think our young players, that you take Austin and Remy, who may not be getting as many minutes as they, you know, other guys, we're still getting in every day, getting extra work in, making sure their games continue to grow, because you never know when one of them may need to step up here and really help us as this season continues to go. And so I think that, you know, like we have all year, we've come back after tough losses, after great wins, and the one thing this team has been able to do is come back and refocus on the next task at hand, and I think we've done that the last couple of days.
Michigan provide any different challenges this time around than they did the first time? How have they gotten better?
Well, I think, you know, again, they've got great veteran players, Novak, you know, guys that understand what this league's all about. They've been through it, and yeah, Trey Burke's a freshman, like Cody's a freshman, but you know, those other four guys they're putting out there have been through this league, and you know, I think you know, a year ago I think they started out 1-6 and they're 6-3 right now. So you know, they're a solid basketball team who you know, within their system does a very good job.
Coach, Michigan is 5-0 at home in Big Ten play. What things do they do well at home compared to maybe some of their road games that they've had so far? You know what?
I've watched their road games. I've watched their home games. You know, I've always said this about conference play. It's the one thing that you know, people, again, you get wrapped up in home and road, and you make a big mistake. When you get into conference play, I've always believed it really doesn't matter whether you're at home or on the road. And to say I could see them playing different on the road, I didn't see them play any different on the road than they have at home. You know, they've had great games on the road, and they may not have got the win, but they're not a team that I can see that, well, on the road they play this way and at home they play. I don't think there's anybody in the league like this, that does that. You know, so I can't say that there's anything in particular that they do different.
Obviously Cody and Trey are arguably the two best freshmen, or two most noted freshmen in the conference. Just your thoughts on both of them so far as we start the second half of the Big Ten season?
I think they're both getting a lot of attention. I think they both played major parts of their team's success. And I think they both seem to handle the success they've had very well. And so I think there's, you know, as you look at both of them, I'm sure there's games they both like to have back.
Sure.
But that's being a freshman. And so, but I think they, you know, you look at the pressure of each one has had on their team, it's probably very similar.
Okay, I'm going to let Steve go so we got to leave in about 15 minutes.
Sweet.
So.
All right, Will, what's up with your haircut?
I'm not answering questions about that. Talk about Michigan. No distractions, really.
All right, we'll talk about Michigan. You know, what kind of different challenges do you think they might present this time around?
They're on their home court, so, you know, obviously everybody has a better feel about that. You know, they know their court, they run their plays every day in practice on their court, so it's just a home court thing. But, you know, a good team plays well both away and home.
They're a team that kind of likes to slow the tempo down a little bit at home. I know they were able to hold Wisconsin's offense pretty well. How does a game like Wisconsin prepare you for what they're going to try and do to you guys tempo-wise?
Well, I feel like they're going to run more. I mean, when we look at film and we see that they run a little bit more than me at home. You know, they feel a little comfortable in their system and they're running. But at the same time, you know, they're going to try to take away our transition, and we just can't afford for them to do that.
Christian, you and Cody were pretty successful offensively, and the last time you guys played Michigan. How important do you guys think it is to get both of you established early and really go to the post kind of early on in the game?
It's going to be a big key, but I mean, we're just going to take what the defense gives us, whether it be Cody or myself. They have a hard time guarding Cody in the post, and we're just going to play through him and see what happens.
You guys did a pretty good job of keeping Burke and Hardaway from getting a whole lot going. I guess they scored their, they kind of got theirs, but they weren't able to sort of distribute and do the things they usually do. What can you guys take from how you defended them the first game and kind of apply that in this one?
Oh, those players have gotten a lot better since then, and they kind of, play a little different. So, I mean, we're just going to try to take some of their strengths away and make everything difficult for them. When
you're playing a team like this that's so reliant on three-pointers, and they shoot, I think they've hit more than anybody else in this league, is there a bigger home field advantage? I guess do they feel more comfortable, just as shooters, I guess, with their own place? I guess does that make a difference in have
Yeah, I mean, there's a part of that. Same thing with us. We obviously shoot better at home, but we we're going to help and be constant shooters at the same time. So it just means our job's harder. When they got to pick and roll, you got to help the screener, but also get out to your man on the three-point line. It's just a tough job. You just got to do it.
Cody and Trey, obviously, two freshmen. So Cody and Trey are obviously the two freshmen in the league that are either the best, get the most attention, however you want to phrase it. You've been through the league before. What do you think about those two and the way they're playing as freshmen?
Like you said, they're getting a lot of attention, but they deserve it. Both those players are playing well. They do things for their team that a lot of guys as freshmen can't do, which is just impact the game both offensively and defensively. From watching film, I know that point guard, you can get into a lane, you can distribute, and that's something a lot of freshman point guards really can't do. They kind of need to sit back and watch for a couple years, but he's doing a great job, and Cody as well. I think that's a big thing that both them do. The best is just look for their teammates, and when you got senior guys and vets on our team and their team, that's what you got to do.
You obviously didn't play in the first one, Will. I guess what did you learn from watching Vic and Verdell? Obviously, those guys were handling Hardaway and Burke. I guess what could you take from what those guys did in terms of just keeping those guys?
They did a fantastic job. They just gotta make their job difficult. You gotta always be in help side, but be conscious of where they are on the floor because they're such capable shooters. But yeah, just gotta be constantly aware of where they are on the court.
How much does what they still do some back cuts and stuff like that? How much does that kind of add
it's just, you guard the same. Besides the little bit strengths and weaknesses of each player, you pretty much play. Everybody in help side the same. But if they back cut, you gotta stay with them and whatnot. But it's obviously for better players a tougher job, but it's something you gotta do.
Is there any benefit to the fact that you guys played 3 of your first road games in arguably the 3 toughest venues, Ohio State, Michigan State, and Wisconsin? Is there any benefit to the fact that was early and now you've got that experience going into the second half of the conference season or not?
Yeah, it definitely helps to have the 3 toughest, arguably the toughest places to play. We know that going in Michigan's also a very tough place.
Sure.
So they could be up there as well. But definitely getting any type of road game under your belt helps you for the next one. So this being our 4th road game? 5th? It definitely helps.
Actually 6th.
6th
road game in the
Played
league.
5.
In the league? 6th in the league?
Yeah.
Really?
Anything else for these guys? All right.